Hi, I'm Laura Domershank. I am the consultant for the Vernon Community Network, and I'm also a school psychologist of 25 years. The VCN wanted to provide a support to our community, and so we decided that we would create a family quarantine workbook, which is an informative, educational, but yet fun way to help families build resilience during the time of our quarantine and the stressful times that we're in. So this workbook includes practical tips for families, for instance, how to talk to children about the coronavirus, but then it also has some fun and enjoyable activities that you can do as a family with the hopes of building your resilience during this time. There are a couple considerations to keep in mind when using this workbook. One is that the workbook was designed to be parent-driven and to have the parents really facilitate the discussion and the activities. When you go through the PDF, it may appear that this workbook is designed for families with younger children. And so while some of the activities will appeal more to younger children, there are activities that are specifically geared with adolescents and teenagers in mind. Don't take the workbook too seriously. Have fun with it. Building family resilience is about creating memories and routines and rituals and traditions with your family and having fun with your family. So please have fun. Don't take it too seriously. You cannot do it wrong. Just enjoy. We're going to start by talking about self-care to boost resilience. Self-care is taking action to preserve your physical, mental, emotional, social, and spiritual health. It is critically important to use self-care. We hear the term self-care a lot, but I don't think that we acknowledge how very important it is, particularly during these stressful times. When we use self-care, we're continually filling our reserve, our ability to handle stress as it comes to us, so that we're not always on edge. We've released our stress. We have continued to fill our feel-good reserve, our calm, our relaxation, so when something does happen, we can handle it much better. Some examples are relaxing, creative expression, social connection. I think we all know what that means now in the time of the quarantine and our Zoom social calls and video connections that we have with others. It is not a coincidence that we feel better after that happens. We feel better because we've connected. And if you feel better after a Zoom call with friends, know that has filled your self-care need, and it's for you. That's really important. You can see in the activities that there are self-care examples as you flip through your PDF. There are a lot of different examples that will resonate differently to your family members. But the goal is that each family member picks and actually writes their top 3 self-care goals. And this is the important part. The self-care goals must be practiced daily for the next week. And if you can, even longer. The thing with self-care is we all know what it is. We all have a general idea that it's good for us, but we don't practice and, more importantly, stick to it. Research tells us that if we write down our self-care goals, we practice them, and we do it for a period of time, it is incredibly effective. It's important that we define what resilience is. We will continually talk about the goal of this workbook will be to increase our family resilience. But what is resiliency? Resiliency simply is defined as the ability to overcome difficulty. And so we need resilient families now more than ever because families are stressed. They're dealing with job loss, reduction of hours. Some families are self-employed and have businesses that are being forced to shut down, trying to educate and provide distance learning within the home environment. and all of the other stressors that families had to deal with prior to this pandemic are still there. Our own mental health issues, our own family strife, our own issues that we were dealing with pre-pandemic, we're still dealing with now, but at a heightened rate and greater intensity because of all the other stressors that we're dealing with. We need our resilience more than ever. Part of building resilience is having some sort of predictability and controllability in your life. So part of the workbook talks about creating a family plan. And this really is, what is your priority as a family, and what are the individual family members' priorities during this time? So is it school, is it work, exercise, relationships, sleep, play, etc. And then you're going to write a family plan that supports efforts to manage anxiety as you move forward in your life during the following week. So, for example, in the next week, I will wake up at a regular hour, prepare a healthy lunch, do my self-care, make some time to connect with children, and sit down for a family dinner, is the example provided in the workbook. And so this is really important because, again, the predictability and the controllability, the scheduling, the routines that will help you feel a little bit more calm and in control of your life during this time. The next section is on productivity. It's really important for all family members to feel as if they are productive and contributing members to their family. It is a powerful dynamic to feel like you have a strong sense of family membership. And so, in spite of your kids fighting you about chores, know that it's really important for them to feel part of the family, but also to feel as though you are providing your child with really important life skills that's critical to their development, sense of accomplishment, mastery, and overall confidence. In the workbook, we have life skills broken up by age. So you have toddler life skills such as putting clothes in the laundry basket, putting toys in a toy basket, brushing their teeth, so on and so forth. And then preschoolers. And preschoolers could help set the table, prepare their own snack, make their bed, and so on. And then elementary school age includes such activities such as gathering and taking out the trash, packing a lunch, wiping cabinets, sweeping, and so on. And just know that adolescents and teenagers can basically do most of the tasks or chores at home. So really important and a great time to kind of do things that you've always wanted to do with your kids as far as chores, that many of us parents feel as though it's just not worth the hassle fighting over and it's easier to do it myself. This might be a time to start with some of these chores and life skills. Know that the productivity that the child will feel is worthwhile. The next section in the workbook is creating a calm down or relaxation space in your home. This is really important, especially for those of you who have younger children. This communicates a message that we all become angry, tense, anxious, dysregulated, whatever it is, whatever emotion that your child is feeling. We all feel these things, but there's a way to appropriately manage it. And here's how. And so by having a space, it's a concrete example of modeling appropriateness when you are feeling dysregulated. Related to this is the section on emotions. It's really important to help family members identify their emotions, particularly during a time of not only an abundance of emotions, but conflicting emotions. So you have children who are feeling very scared, very fearful, but really angry and frustrated that they can't get out of their house. This is just an example of 4 different emotions, but they're conflicting. I'm afraid to go out of my house, but I really want to go out of my house. And then what we typically find is that a whole lot of frustration and acting out or internalizing behaviors, withdrawing behaviors. And so it's very, very important, particularly during a time like now, to process those emotions. In the workbook, There's a section on what zone are you in based on different color of emotions. And not only that, but there are the inside out personalities or characters that are personified. And this is a great way to get children to be able to understand the feelings based on a fairly recognizable character, and one that they understand if they've seen the Inside Out movie. And if you haven't seen it, it would also be a great opportunity to see the movie and talk about the feelings and then relate it to the zones that you're in. There's a feeling zone family plan included in the workbook, and this is basically just a discussion about when we're in the blue zone, this is what we can do. When we're in the green zone, this is what we can do. Because you have your PDF, you know that the blue aligns with a different feeling, the green, yellow, and red corresponds to a different feeling. And so just a lot of this is discussion, and you do what you want to do with this, talk about emotions with your family. And so this will look different for every family. The next section is on deep breathing. It sounds a little bit cliche when you're upset and somebody tells you to breathe deeply, and you often don't think that it works. But deep breathing really does work. The problem is that people don't understand why it works and don't do it long enough. So what happens is when you breathe in deeply, your stomach expands and it hits something called the vagal nerve. And that nerve sends a message to your amygdala. Your amygdala is a part of your brain that plays a key role in processing emotions. It helps to coordinate responses to the environment, particularly those that trigger an emotional response based on fear around you. And so when you breathe in, your stomach expands and your amygdala gets the message and says, no worries, you can relax, because if there was something wrong, you would be breathing really, really fast. And if you're breathing fast, it means that there's something scary around, and then I have to kick into gear. But since you're breathing slow, that means that you can quit releasing stress hormones and we can relax. So deep breathing has a physical effect because it helps to bring your body back into a restful, calm state. You'll see in the workbook that there are some ideas that you can use with your children, and they're very helpful, so I would encourage you to use them. For older kids and for yourself, there's some really great apps out there. Some are free, some are a small fee that you can download on your phone or your iPad. It helps with the deep breathing exercises. I use one called Calm that I've really liked and I like for my own family. I think a really, really important part of family resiliency is finding time for family play. We have this opportunity of time that we never expected to have. Use it to connect with your family. Connection and belonging are critical during this time. Play with your family. Have fun with your family. It's a chance for all family members to relax. There are very little expectations in play. Play allows for communication among family members, and it makes family members feel as if they're a part of a family or a team or a group. Again, that group membership is so important in family dynamics. Play may be one of the most important parts of your day, so find time for it if you can. Tips for family play is just not to overthink it. Anything can turn into playtime. If you have a hard time with this, if it's sort of out of your comfort zone, ideas are building a fort, sidewalk art, capture the flag, swinging, scavenger hunt, playing sports, drawing together, water balloons, family yoga, dance party, anything. Even just preparation for your family meal could turn into playtime or an activity. Trying to incorporate outside play is really important just because we all know that the sunshine and vitamin D is really helpful for our mental health. It's really good to get outside. Schedule the playtime. The reason, it sounds silly, but the reason that you're scheduling the playtime is you're more inclined to stick to it. If it's just one of those things that you say, oh, if we get to it, we'll get to it, but it's one of those things that's not high on our priority list, Well, I think that it is. I think it should be one of the highest things on your priority list, particularly during this time. Have fun with your kids. Get messy. Don't worry about them getting dirty. These are the memories that they will remember with their family, especially during this time. Let your children see that you're able to laugh and let go. They're looking to you as a way that they should be behaving and responding to this time. So if they see you in a relaxed state, having fun, they're going to have a moment where they feel that the world is okay, even though we all know that it's not. Kids don't need to know that. And so they're modeling from you. Be a good model for them. Let them see you have fun. The next activity, the family resilience tree, is my most favorite activity. I really find that this can be a profound activity and elicit some really important discussions regarding family values, family tradition, and what it means to be part of your family. The family resiliency tree represents the parts of your family that help your family function during times of adversity. It's important to note that there's no right or wrong to this activity because every family is different. Every family is unique, has different family members, different values, a different belief system, and so you make this activity exactly how you want to make it. So the parts of the tree, as you can see in the workbook, are broken down into the roots, the trunk, the branches, and then the leaves. And the roots of the tree are the foundation, and they help to anchor the tree. And so in your discussion about your family resilience tree, you'll want to talk about what are the roots of your family. What are the roots that help to keep the rest of the tree healthy and stable, particularly in times of stress and adversity? The trunk of the tree is the heart of the tree. It's fairly constant, and it's who people see when they think of your family. It's going to be family members, pets, important people in your family. The branches of the tree are your priorities or your responsibilities that you have to focus on, and they tend to support beliefs and produce the tangible items. So what are the branches of your tree? It might be school, work, leisure activities, sports, and so on. The leaves of the tree are the outcome. So what is attached to your family, what is seen by others. These things tend to come and go. Sometimes they're thriving and sometimes they're not. We tend to focus on the leaves and admire them or lament them when they fall. So what are the leaves of your family? The discussion and the question prompts are the most important part of this activity. Really processing the activity with your family members will surface some really important family discussion. This next section is on connection and belonging. We all need connection. We all need to feel as if we belong. It is a basic human need that we all have. Connecting with family and feeling as if you belong in your family is powerful. For some families, connection means completing parts or all of this workbook, while other families, connection means just sitting in the same space together. I'm often asked, how do I get my teenager to connect? Well, if your teenager is struggling right now, it's because developmentally they need connections, and they need connections with people outside of their family. It's a developmental need for adolescents to connect with their peers, and that is just not happening right now. So while we can't completely fix that, we can help with that. If our child is using technology to connect with their peers, we may want to consider loosening our restrictions, if we have any, on time spent on technology. We can also use technology as a tool in an effort to connect with our teenager. Meet them where they are. Find out what apps they're using. Learn about them. Connect with them through the apps. Figure out how to message them or play games with them or have a Netflix party with them, have a virtual family bingo night with them, create a quarantine vlog. Whatever you can do to enter their world in an effort to connect will be well received. You'll probably get a lot of looks or a lot of laughs and some sighs, but your teenagers really will appreciate the effort that you're making, and it provides a sense of belonging and connection, even if it's not in the way that you had envisioned because it's through technology. It still is meeting that need for your teenager during this time. The last part of the workbook is just an offering of general tips and guidelines that may help you during this time. If your child wants to talk to you about the coronavirus, then please keep these tips in mind. Be calm. I know it's harder said than done, and we're feeling a lot of different things ourselves about what's going on, but our children are looking to us as a kind of a gauge as to how they feel that they should be reacting, thinking, responding, and feeling during this time. So the more calm we are, the more calm they will be. Let's keep our conversation short. Answer their questions. Never offer too much information or talk beyond what we know, and keep it child-friendly. We also want to connect what we're talking about to concepts that they already know. It gives them a sense of control and I can handle this. So if you're talking about hygiene, that's completely appropriate because it's a concept that they likely already know about. Or connecting it to flu hygiene, or coughing in the crook of their arm. It gives kids a sense of control. I got this. Know that you will have these initial conversations, and kids being kids, they tend to take the information, process it, and come back with clarifying questions. And so know that that will happen. Pay attention to what questions they have for you, because if it's questions about school or about elderly family members, you might be able to figure out what's really stressing kids out. Are they worried about grandma or grandpa or their friends, or ever going back to school, or ever having a normal life again? You'll be able to gauge that based on the questions that they do ask of you. Be available. Again, they'll come back to you with questions, and so just be available and mindful when they do want to talk. Visuals sometimes help children, especially the younger children, giving a face to the coronavirus. There are a lot of good videos and books online right now about that speaks to this. It gives the coronavirus a face, and it helps kids feel as though they have control over this. It gives them an idea of what's happening rather than this big, scary, abstract concept that's larger than life out there. It is, but the kids don't need to know that. We're trying to bring it down and make it a little bit more manageable for them. If your child is displaying concerning behaviors, and concerning behaviors may be regressing, not sleeping, frequent and extreme emotional outbursts, different than the pre-pandemic. So these are behaviors that are different than that you were seeing before all of this happened. Anxiety, depressive characteristics, seek help. There's a lot of teletherapy that's happening right now. But just talk to somebody and bounce your concerns, and if you have any thoughts or questions about what's happening with your child, definitely now is the time to seek help. And just some quick general tips during this time. A lot of these tips, or all these tips, will not come as a surprise to you, but they are incredibly important. First being, find a routine that works for you and your family. This does include a consistent bedtime and wake-up time for you and your children. Get dressed every day. Really important. Makes you feel like you're a little bit more in control, like you have purpose, like you have things to accomplish. It gives you a sense of like, I've got things to do today. Write a schedule for the day. Also makes you feel like you have a sense of purpose, you need to accomplish things. Your schedule, the schedule will look differently for each family member, and it's important for kids to do this for themselves as well. It's a good life skill for them to have. Give yourself time to be outside, get some fresh air, feel the sun, a change of scenery. It's so good for you psychologically and for your mental health. In the same way that eating healthy meals is good for your mental health and it's good for your physical health as well. When we're stressed, we tend to lose track of a sense of time, and we also tend to have smaller snacks, not even small meals, but snacks throughout the day. So you might end up at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night and realize, oh, I've had like 12 snacks, but I never had a meal. Really important to have a healthy meal. Similarly, hydration is important. We forget to drink our water during the day. Hydrate. It'll make you feel like just more mentally alert and with it. Connect with family, with friends, with coworkers, with old friends, people you haven't seen in a long time. We talk about social distancing, but I wish it was called physical distancing because we need social connectedness now more than ever. So socially connect, physically distance. Know that everyone, including you, are doing the best that they can during this time. This is unprecedented. People have issues. People had issues pre-pandemic. Those issues are now heightened, and people are doing the best that they can with what they have under these really trying circumstances. And know that you're doing your best. The fact that you even spent time learning, listening to this, looking at the workbook, you're doing really well. And so take what you can use from this workbook and have fun with your family. Create some memories.